right? So today I want to talk about what I consider like step two. Last time we talked about putting together a palette, and I had fully planned on jumping right into having a full pattern with wools out, and we would discuss color planning, and you guys would tell me some cues like let's go light, let's go dark, let's do this, let's do that. But I have time to set it up. And the more I thought about it, there really is a second step in there that I kind of glossed over, I guess. And I want to take a little bit more time to sort of talk about that. And we talked about a lot of mainly terms, color type terms, right? So we talked about, let me get rid of that on the bottom. Let's do, no, this one. So we talked about primary and secondary and tertiary analogous. We talked about complementary, split complementary, triad, hue, tint, shade, tone. Holy cow. The only one that matter are value and contrast. Okay, so in order to get contrast, you have to have two values. So when you put one value next to another, if you can see a difference in a black and white photograph, then you've got contrast. Let me move this monitor. There was a little bit of furniture moving around today. It's in the wrong spot. I can't get my microphone down and out of the scene. There we go. So two different colors need to make contrast. And I pulled these out for you to take a look at. Okay, this is when it gets tough. Which one of these is the dark? Which one is the light? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them down. I'm going to switch to my down camera. And then, oh, that one's got all kinds of pet hair on it. Sorry for that. And then I'm going to change it to black and white. Which one's the dark? I could be like a musician or a magician, right? There's not a whole lot of difference between the two. So what would happen if I were to hook these and think clearly, this is the bright, this is the dark. Remember, notice I said bright, not light. But when I would hook these together, I would end up with a little bit of smush. That's because when we look at it in black and white, they're pretty much the same values. Okay? So when I'm hooking my red flowers, when I'm picking a dark, I go really, really dark. Because the only thing that matters, right, is value. So how do we use value? How do we take what we know or what we're learning about value and turn that into a color plan for a rug, right? Well, the first step, I always go to paper and magic markers, okay? So this is a pattern, and this is the one that we will color plan in about 2 weeks. This is called Nalperlock. Let me flip this around. And basically, Nalperlock is hard to say because it's color plan spelled backwards, okay? And when I worked these things up, I felt like I took this rug upside down, inside out, backwards and forwards. So it made sense to name it color plan spelled backwards. And I'm not even doing the entire rug. I'm only concentrating on the flowers and the little scalloped edge. But look how different they look. Here they are all on a light background, and here they are all dark. Medium with dark, dark with medium, medium with medium. Each one of these give you a different look. And you might have a gut reaction and go, ooh, that one, I like that one. Then what you do is once you know you like that kind of presentation of the motif, then we go on and we also then work on values for the rest of the plan. But here it is with a darker background colored in behind the flower. Look how different they look compared to before. I don't remember what this one is. But this one's called a medium background. So, and what I've used to do these is, this is a dark Sharpie marker, which probably most of us have. And then this one is a silver Sharpie. If you don't have a silver Sharpie, it takes a little bit longer, but you can take a pencil and you can color it in with a pencil and see how it pretty much gives you the same value. You know, it just takes a little bit longer. So a silver Sharpie is something that last time I checked, you could still get them at Walmart. I think particularly with holidays coming, or school supplies coming up this fall, you'll be able to find it a little bit more readily then. But I always have silver Sharpies sitting around to do that. If you have a fancy marker set and it's got gray, use the gray. Just make sure it's not a super dark gray. But it's important, I think, to concentrate on, and that was in black and white. Here it is in color. Not a whole lot different. The only thing that really changed was my hands. But the important thing is that if you know where the values are going to go in your rug before you hook it, you're going to know if you're going to get this look or if you're going to get this look. And you can tell by the values, oh, I don't like that. Ooh, I like how this emphasizes the scallops. Or I like how this emphasizes the dots. I know I want a dark flower with white dots because that really brings the dots out. Or if I do another color, they kind of blend in, right? So it's important to explore the pattern so that you know all those ins and outs. And then when you lay down your colors, you're a little more confident on what goes where. And you're making that decision. If I've got a dark going around here the edge and I'm working my way in, the next color's a light. It has to be lighter than the dark I used here and any medium I would use in the future. So you have to kind of like, plan around it. Here I've got a medium, a light, and then a dark. I would line those colors up and sort of arrange them just on the table to figure out what they're going to look like, okay? A lot of times one color laying on the other, you'll instantly go, no, I don't like that, or, ooh, I love that. And that'll give you the confidence to continue hooking with it. Now, get my notes out. Last time we talked about the palette. This is the value study. Now the third step is going to be what we're going to do in 2 weeks. We're going to take that value study and we're going to turn that into a rug. So what I'm going to do is I am going to color plan Nalprolac, because actually I've never hooked it. So I think I want to hook it for my upstairs hallway. And I'm going to color plan it, but you guys are going to be there with me. I'm going to do it live next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is a day we don't usually have a live event, right? Unless you're a member of the Rug Cooking Journey. Now, in the Rug Cooking Journey, we do make sure that there's an event every single day at 4 p.m. Now, I'm not always there, but at 4 p.m. would be what I call the hostless hook-in. Instead of doing the hostless hook-in, on next Tuesday, I'm going to turn the camera on live and we are going to figure out the color plan for Nalprolac. It'll be a very informal session. You guys can turn your microphones on in the Zoom meeting and ask me questions as I'm working. I'll have a different camera set up. I'll be set up at my table so that you can see a little bit more rather than just this little space. So the other thing that happens in a color plan in knowing your values is when you're using a texture, okay? And I've talked about this before, But when you use a texture, this is another lesson that's in the practical color planning course, and it's a value study. And it's called, or a texture sampler. It's called a texture sampler because basically you take one of your textures and then you lay a piece of it flat. That way you can see exactly what it looks like cooked. So when we're talking, let me lay this out. Let me switch the camera to the down view. And then let me switch the camera to black and white. We can instantly see what's going on. This is a good light. This one that's off the page is a good light. This one over here would be a good light, right? A lot of mediums and a couple darks. You know, this one's dark. This one up here is dark. So this is a way, how can I say this? This is a way to take a very confusing thing like a texture when you are so busy looking at all the different colors that are in it to cancel out the colors and look at the value. And the only thing that matters is what it looks like cooked. Because some of these, let me see if I've got one on here. Not too much. Maybe this one appears to be a little bit darker than when it's flat. So a lot of times things will hook up differently in a slightly different value than what you might expect. And this is the other reason I like the texture sampler is that if you want to know if this color, this gold, works good with this blue, I simply fold it, put them next to each other. We can look at two things like that and go, yes, that works, or no, it doesn't. And then I can turn on the black and white camera, which you can do the same thing with your cell phone. Just flip the mode to black and white and see if there's enough of a difference. If I wanted to subtly shade something, this is probably enough of a difference. If I wanted to really do the shading on it, I might want to go to something a little bit darker before I do that. So the black and white camera gives you a chance to double check the values, but the texture sampler gives you a chance to check the textures after they're hooked, because that's the only thing that matters. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have time to make this, I didn't either. But what I did is whenever I had a new texture, and this was my oldest one, so almost all of these wools are gone. Every time I got a new piece of wool, I would hook up a little tiny square. And once I did that, then I knew exactly what that wool was be good for. And I could look at that color and go, okay, so what can I make with that color? What kind of a pattern do I need to look for in order to use this wool? Or where can I use this in something maybe that I already have? So that's the lesson for today. Join me next Tuesday. Members of the Rug Cooking Journey, you all already have the link, right? So put it on your calendar. I'll be adding it to mine. Put it on your calendar for next Tuesday at our usual time at 4 o'clock. And then if you're a member of the color planning course, the practical color planning for rug cookers, you will get an email invite with that Zoom link. So you'll be able to join us. Even if you join me back when the color planning class just got started back in 2016, you will be able to join me. So, and if you're not a member, head on over to howtorughcook.com, and there's information on that page that will tell you how to join that class. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. In the meantime, make sure you watch these videos, and one of them, when it's ready, will become the replay of the color planning session that we're going to hold privately live. So I'll see you all then. Bye for now. Okay, I gotta make sure I end the right one. Finish and